Hi everyone, welcome. It's Lee with Milk and Sugar Bath Bakery, and today we are making Fruit Loops cereal soap. This soap, I recently made a test batch in a 2-pound loaf, and I sold it at some of my craft fairs and it went wild. I sold out really quickly. So I've ordered another batch of the fragrance and I'm gonna be making it for you today. The first thing that I do for this Fruit Loops soap is make little Fruit Loops soap embeds. And I've got red, purple, yellow, green, and blue. I am going to show you how I made these really quick and take you through that process, and then we'll come back to make the main batch of soap. What I have here are all of my supplies that I'm gonna need. The first being this mold. It's a silicone mold and each one of those is a Fruit Loop. And it was purchased at Vanillé Molds online. I can leave you a link down below for that. I have some white melt and pour soap, a knife to cut it up, some pipettes, popsicle sticks, and my colorants. We are going to be making 5 different colors of Fruit Loops for the top of the soap. So I do not need a lot of soap. You can see these little molds are very tiny. So I have this tiny little container that I'm gonna fill up with white melt and pour. So let's get started on that. That's all I'm gonna do for each color. We'll see if it gives me enough. I need 18 embeds for each color. And we are going to do red, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Put just a little bit more. Now, the reason I'm using white melt and pour soap today is I want these to have somewhat of a pastel look. If you look at actual Fruit Loops, they are not really vibrant in color. They've kind of got, you know, washed out look to them. So I want to try to create the same thing in this. I have this ready to go. We're going to start with our red. I'm going to melt this. It'll only take about 10 seconds to melt all of this. Okay, all the soap is melted. I'm just using a popsicle stick to stir it. The first color is going to be really red from Sober's Choice, and I'm taking just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of this mica and putting it in there. It's almost too much, in my opinion, of a small amount to disperse in glycerin or anything, so you just have to stir it up really well. I'm liking where we are with our color, so I'm just going to take a pipette and start filling these molds up. This is the easiest way that I've found to do it since they're so tiny. One pipette, you can get a couple of them filled. Embeds tend to be one of the things that takes the most time in preparation for soap making, but they can really make the final soap look fantastic. So as I get a row done, I'm going to spritz it with 91% rubbing alcohol to take away any of the bubbles that are forming on top. These are going to set up in the mold really quickly. So I'm just going to speed this along and I'll show you making all 5 colors and also unmolding. So we have all of our melted oils here. The first thing I'm going to be doing is adding kaolin clay and colloidal oatmeal. I add a tablespoon of each to my batches. I'm also going to add in our heavy cream. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend this up and then add in my lye solution. I have added in some titanium dioxide to my lye solution because I want the entire batch to have a white look to it, and the colors that I'm going to use I want to look pastel. So I added that directly into my lye. We'll add that in too, so you'll see this get pretty white right off the bat when I add that in. The fragrance I'm using today is Fruit Loops Cereal Type from Bescented. Now, there's a couple different Fruit Loops scents out there. This one from Bescented is one that does not cause discoloration, which I think is quite crazy because it's so sweet smelling. That's why I'm using this one, and it also holds up in cold processed soap and doesn't disappear. I've read that some others do disappear after cure. So we're using Bescented. I'm stirring that into the whole batch first. And now we're going to split off 4 colors. We have a lot of accent colors. We've got the white base, and then we're going to have 5 accents, the same 5 colors that I created the Fruit Loop embeds. So we don't need a lot of each color. Okay, so for our yellow, we're using Bright Yellow Raincoat from Mad Micas. The green is Maniacal Pea from Mad Micas. The blue is Brilliant Blue from Nurture Soap. The purple is Purple Vibrance from Nurture. And the red is Really Red from Nurture. And that'll go a little pink because of the titanium dioxide in each one of these, but that's kind of what we want. So I'm going to mix these up, starting with the lightest and moving around to the darkest color. The soap is staying super fluid, so we're going to start pouring. I'm going to start off with white, and this white is really to represent the milk in the cereal. Then we're going to take each one of these colors, and we're going to do a bit of a drop swirl thinly. My plan will be not to stir this at all, just kind of let it fall where it falls. That's a true drop swirl in soap. I'm pouring from up high to try to get it to break down inside of there. Do the green. And then we'll end with the red. It was funny at craft fair. Everybody would see this soap and be like, ooh, Fruit Loops cereal. And then they would pick it up and smell it and be like, oh my gosh, how it smells just like it. How'd you do that? And then It was so funny. Some people thought that I had crushed up actual Fruit Loops and put it in there, and it's just a lot of fun. I don't need any of this for the top because I want the top to be all white and look like milk. And then we'll put those Fruit Loop embeds in there. So let me go ahead and get the rest of this soap in the mold, and we'll come back and start placing those embeds. We have all the soap in the mold, and it is time to put on our little Fruit Loops. You do see still some of the color, and I think that looks all right. It kind of almost looks like the Fruit Loops are swirling with the milk. I did a little swirl on the top real quick. So this is going to take me quite a while. I'm going to do rows of each color, so there'll be 5 Fruit Loops across on every bar. It's still a little soft. That's okay, because I kind of want these to look like they're floating. So they'll go in just a little bit. So that skewer helped out a lot. I didn't try that technique the last time I made this, but that helped out a lot because they keep trying to flip over on me. I'm gonna do a light dusting of iridescent glitter just to give it a little extra. Also to, you know, point out that this is not edible. Let me bring you in for a close-up so you can see these up close. Look how cute, you guys. Turned out so stinking cute. It looks like real Fruit Loops on top. I love it. All right, I will bring you back when we cut into it, and we'll look at our drop swirl inside. Time to cut into Fruit Loops and see our drop swirl. Look, guys. It's very pastel, but the colors match perfectly with the Fruit Loops on top, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with this soap. It's a bit soft still. That's okay. We'll get it in our curing rack. Ooh, look at all those swirls. Oh, that's so fun. This is just a fun soap for kids and adults. Really. The smell is fantastic. If you're a kid, you love it because it's cereal scented. If you're an adult, I feel like you kind of like it because it reminds you of your childhood. This one turned out really cute. I'm very happy with it. And I love the little Fruit Loops on top that look like they're kind of floating in milk. Will definitely be one that I try to make more often if it continues to keep selling well.